What's up, guys? This is Justin. Gonna thank you guys for making me part of your day. This video is gonna be part 2 of my Alopecia Areata series. So if you want to watch part 1, it should be in a playlist on the right side, my left, your right. So this is gonna be part 2. What I'm gonna talk about is something that a lot of people, they fall victim to this, and it's just mind-boggling to me why people don't understand. So I talked about what alopecia areata is, okay? Now I want to talk to you guys about doctors in general, okay? So because alopecia areata is an autoimmune disease and there's no cure for it, there's a lot of treatments for it, but there's no cure for it right now because 99.9% sure that it's genetic, okay? So you can't really change a genetic coding with treatment, okay? I mean, you can probably prevent it, but you can't really change your DNA. It's just very difficult to do that, okay? What we're going to talk about, though, is going to be a mistake that I see with a lot of people in terms of treating their alopecia areata, okay? We're going to talk about doctors, though, real quick, because what's going to happen is that I have personal experience of what happened to me, okay? But I want to tell you guys what you should do when you're looking for a doctor, okay? When you go to, I don't know how your insurance works, but what mine did, and this was a long time ago, but the way insurance works is that typically you go to a primary care physician, and then that physician has to refer you to a specialist, okay? Most insurances, depending on how good or bad your insurance is, most insurances, the specialists are kind of expensive. Dermatology in particular is like, I know this from one of my exes, like, dermatology is the field you want to go in because it makes the most money out of almost all of them, okay, in specialty, because you got a lot of outpatient procedures and you got a lot of it's usually skin, which is what dermatology is, okay. So when you think of alopecia areata, you're like, well, that's hair, but it's actually going to be it deals with the scalp in general, okay. One thing that you should do is you should really, if your insurance allows it, you should really shop around for doctors in general, okay. And I'll tell you what happened with me when I was going, looking for a doctor or anything like that. Most dermatologists are booked up. Like it depends on where you live, depends how far you're willing to travel, in network, out network. But most doctors, I mean MDs, okay, because I actually saw a physician assistant. Most MDs are just booked up, and depending on how you feel or how long you're willing to wait, is what you need to do. I would recommend. If you know you have alopecia areata, or you have like, a pencil eraser or a thumbnail, like bald spot, I would recommend seeing a doctor. I frequented a physician assistant. So a PA is a physician assistant. They can pretty much do everything a doctor can do, except I think like major surgery. Okay, so they can prescribe meds, they can do things in it. And one of the treatments for alopecia areata is steroid injections. Okay, so they can do that. But I saw a PA. For a long time, and he was a really nice guy, and I had a good rapport with him. So when you're looking for somebody, this isn't a knock on PAs at all, okay? Because I think they're very, very useful, and if it were up to me, I'd just see the PA. But so if you're going to see a PA, what you want to do is be able to communicate and they should be able to explain to you the processes and what's actually going on if you have questions, okay? Doctors in general are short on time, and the strange thing, and this happened to me, and I know it's kind of just a side story and anecdote, right? But my doctor was very knowledgeable, but his manner was a little bit lacking. So he would just kind of like say this, and this. Okay, you good, Justin? All right, bye. But he knew a lot of stuff. Okay, PAs in general, they are a bit more receptive. They're usually younger too, and they may not have as much experience. Okay, so what I would recommend is to see an MD if you can, but PAs, if you want to schedule an appointment with the PA, they may be able to help you as well. The reason why I would recommend MD is because an MD provided better insight with his experience than a PA did. So what's going to happen is this. So if you have alopecia areata, the most common treatment is going to be a steroid injection, okay? Now, so when I went to the PA, he was like, hey, steroid injection, we'll shoot it up, we'll see how it goes, come back in like 6 to 8 weeks. Or, for some people, it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks, okay? Depending on how big and how large the spot is going to be, because it's going to be a local, okay? One thing that, and I continued steroid injections. I'm going to talk about this in the next video. I continued steroid injections for quite some time, like a really long time, probably longer than I should have. But one thing, when my alopecia areata was just over 50% of my scalp, so the next step was to use squaric acid or anything like that. I seek, what's the past tense of seek? Seeked? I seeked out an MD, and the reason why I knew this MD was good because my ex-girlfriend actually did her rotations for this doctor, right? And after years, you know, maybe like 1 or 2 years of treatment from the PA, I was going to shave my head, and I did shave my head. And one of the things that the MD, the doctor that noticed was that he's like, hey, have you ever had your thyroid checked? And I never had my thyroid checked, even though I've had family history of getting my thyroid checked. And this was just one of the things that he, just from experience, because an MD and the PA kind of missed this. He was kind of treating the symptoms, right? And I know that's a popular thing. They treat the symptoms and not the actual disease. And so my MD was like, you need to get blood work done on your thyroid just in case, because, you know, he asked me all these questions, and just from his deciphering and deduction from all those methods, he kind of diagnosed an underlying problem in my underactive thyroid. So, and another thing too is that thyroid and hypothyroidism isn't really common in males, right? So I actually had a PA who, by the book, he did everything by the book, but the MD, with experience and a specialty, he knew that something underlying was taking place. So what I would recommend for you is find a doctor that is receptive to you. Find a doctor that will listen to you, and find a doctor that's good. The doctor that I actually saw, he's funny. He's I don't know how to explain it. He knows, he's always like the smartest dude in the room, and I think his manner's a little bit strange, but I think he means well. So I think a lot of people, he might rub them the wrong way, but with me, he was always short and to the point with me, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and he was correct with everything. So if one doctor is not listening to you and one doctor is just not working out, it is worth it to go see another doctor, particularly a specialist, particularly a dermatology specialist with experience. Okay, so one thing, and kind of this is going to be what I'm going to close with in the video, don't listen to internet, you know, comments. Don't listen to YouTube videos, which if you saw my other video, this is why I'm making these series of videos. Don't listen to somebody that seems to have it figured out, like some smoothie is going to like cure your alopecia areata, or like don't do steroid injections because it'll ruin your hair. And I'm going to get into that on the next commentary. Just make sure that you're informed when you make these decisions. Doctors are doctors for a reason, okay? And I know sometimes they get it wrong. Here's the thing about alopecia areata. The spectrum for alopecia areata is so wide that it's difficult to figure out treatments and effective treatments. Here's the thing. With modern medicine, they might do everything right and you'll still lose all your hair, okay? And there's nothing you can do about it, okay? And that's, I know that seems like, you know, dreadful and hopeless, but that's just the way that it's going to be. And I think a lot of people hold on to a lot of things. Like I've shaved my head, and I'll get into the personal story. I didn't care anymore. So any regrowth that I got was just a bonus, right? Like, because I was like, I'm cool with shaving my head because it was quick. It was quicker than doing my hair, basically. But closing in the video, what I would like for you guys to understand is that you need to find a good doctor, and you need to find the right group. But listen to your doctor, okay? Don't listen to somebody on YouTube. If I say something and I give you advice, and I don't want you going around saying like, well, Justin said, because I'm not a doctor, okay? Don't take what I say as gospel. Nothing I say is backed up by medical evidence or science. Everything that I have that I said is anecdotal to me. It happened to me. It might work for you, but you should always listen to your doctor, okay? Don't listen to all. So on the right side, there's going to be suggested videos how to cure alopecia areata. Don't listen to, like, you can listen to what they're saying, but what they say, they're not doctors, okay? And I know a lot of doctors sometimes get a bad rap, but my MD knew what he was talking about, and he explained it to me, and I'll explain it to you in the treatment video next and my personal story next, but that's what I want to end on. So other than that, if you have any questions or comments on how to find a good doctor, go ahead and put in the comment section below. In terms of me, if you want to ask me questions, I respond to almost every single comment, okay? Unless you're an asshole, I won't respond to that. Actually, I might, but leave them in the comment sections below. If you want to know why I made this video, go back to series 1, the first episode, and it'll kind of explain why I wanted to make this video. I was really upset by another video I saw. But go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this, please thumb it up. And other than that, I've been Justin. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. All right, see ya.